Hello and welcome everyone to a summary of turn 5. As you can see, both the Allies and the Germans have a score of 14 now, and this arrow simply means that I've just advanced the game turn, so I can just remove it. Now, a couple of things that happened. I'll just show you this combat first. It's important to remember this was a German combat against the Allies, and I just put the pink pawn here to remind myself that I was going to say something about it. As you can see, these Allied units are out of supply, which means that they all defend, -1, defend at -1 to a minimum of 1. And this was a German attack during the German combat phase, and you can see it here. So as you can see, I just put an out of supply marker here as well to remind myself, because normally the Allied tank would defend better and the infantry would as well, but you lower them both 1 column. This was the result of that particular combat. As you can see, the Germans had 1 hit more than the Allies, so the Allies lost this step. Now, a couple of other things that happened. There were a few combats going on here during the Allied phase. They actually had 2 hits against the Germans, so the first hit has to be taken, but if it's the last unit, it was the last unit anyway, but I first had to take the step loss, and the second hit I could satisfy by means of retreating. So this German infantry retreated into the town. These 2 pawns here next to the Allied units, Allied artillery units, mean that I use them both on the Allied turn and also on the defending turn, obviously. But for instance, this one, it was activated, but it didn't have much to do. I could have bombarded. Maybe I actually tried that on the Allied turn, I don't quite remember. But bombardment is something that can only happen on your own friendly turn. So I would have liked to have also supported these units, but I think that I would have managed range-wise. But it's a rule that's relatively easy to forget. You can only support a combat by 2 artillery max, so I couldn't really support this one. Now, the Germans on their turn attacked the Allies here. These units were also out of supply, and I believe there wasn't much of an effect. This artillery unit supported the combat, as did these 2 artillery units on the German turn as well, but there wasn't much of an effect. But the Germans don't need to destroy anything here, really. They keep on blocking the road, and that's fantastic for them, because it basically cuts off supply to practically all 30th Corps units along that same road, practically. There could be some exceptions, but please watch my supply rules videos for that. This unit, I believe it exited the board and then re-entered, or no, it actually came from here. Or something. I don't quite remember where it came from, but obviously it also has a ZOC on the road here. So even if this one were to be removed, they'd have another one. This one came from here. The other one was a reinforcement that entered the board. And this one was already there, but it moved over here to try and also cut the road here. So the more places you actually cut the road, the more difficult it's going to be for the Allies to restore supply in this case, because it's already been cut. Now, just something I have to point out, because the Germans received some reinforcements on turn 5, and as you can see, they should have received a tank as well, but I already had 4 tanks on the board, so I'm not quite sure, because there are actually 4 in the mix. So I must have placed it somewhere before, but I don't know where, so I just left it out from these reinforcements. And this reinforcement is important as well. As you can see, the 2 silhouettes are slightly different. These are SS units, but all my SS units were on the board already as well. I do remember, and I I can't actually explain how that happened. I wasn't aware somehow that there were different silhouettes, which is quite obvious once you know, but okay. I'd already placed all the SS units because sometimes the text actually refers to SS units, but the infantry you're supposed to place are regular infantry. So instead of this one, which was placed a little bit to the south of Arnhem, I used the regular infantry instead, and I just left out this armor unit because it was already on the board. Now, a couple of other things that happened that might be worth sharing. The Germans attacked here. This lone infantry with artillery support, but the Allies had artillery support of their own as well. Again, they would have loved to have used some artillery from here as well, but these are all out of supply, which means, well, you can attack. You can actually defend. So I should have done that. That's a mistake. So you can defend, albeit at -1. So I should have done that. Artillery supporting at 2, that would have been. So again, an important lesson learned that might have actually made a difference here and there. Here, the Germans attacked too. The tank unit and the mechanized infantry unit left the board previously, but they came back on and they entered here so as to put pressure on the 82nd Airborne. This was a reinforcement as well, or I believe it was a reinforcement. There was a couple of units here that attacked, but there was no effect there. The Poles were attacked by the heavy armor, the SS infantry, and the recon unit, and they actually lost a step, but since it's broken terrain, they got a little bit of extra defense, which turned out to be enough to hold back the Germans for at least one more turn. So that is something that happened. Here in Nijmegen as well, on the Allied turn, the Germans inflicted a hit on them, so they defended better than the Allies attacked. Over here, there was an attack as well by the Germans against these two airborne infantry with the help of a card, but there was no effect. The Allies didn't play another card, which they could have on the German player turn, but they didn't really have a suitable card at hand, so unfortunately that didn't happen. Here, the Germans attacked on their turn with a tank and the infantry. This infantry came from up here. That's the infantry I was talking about. Should have been an SS infantry, but those were already on the board. So it was a regular one. They switched places with this one, and it moved here, but it also suffered a casualty on the German turn because the two airborne artillery joined the fight as well. And apparently they rolled higher as well because the Germans only supported with one artillery. So the Germans suffered a hit, which was taken on the newly arrived infantry. Now, did I forget anything important? Yeah, this one suffered a hit on the Allied turn, so it retreated into the relative safety of the broken terrain there. So, yeah, that about covers it for this turn, I think. I don't think I've forgotten anything terribly important. So this summarizes turn 5. Thank you for watching and see you on the next video.